Love this podcast? Support this show through the Acast supporter feature. It's up to you how much you give, and there's no regular commitment. Just hit the link in the show description to support now.
Hi everyone, and welcome to the Cognitive Recalibration Podcast. I'm your host Shravan, and I've got my co-host Taran here with me.
Hey everyone.
This week we're going to be talking about Solo, a Star Wars story. I watched it last night, and I believe you also watched it last night.
Yep.
So we'll get on to the review in a second, but I thought we'll talk about some news before we get on to that. So a couple of things happened this week. Well, one major thing happened this week being Melburnians. So we have a stadium called Etihad Stadium, and that's officially being renamed to Marvel Stadium because Disney bought the naming rights. There's going to be an official Marvel store in the stadium where they sell Marvel merchandise. So purely Marvel-based store, because there are like Disney-based stores where you can get Marvel merchandise, but not purely Marvel. So apparently they'll add some, whenever there's events going on, there'll be certain Marvel sort of promotional material. So it depends what they do. And I think AFL wants to associate like a team with a superhero because it's a home ground for our team, like Essendon.
Yeah, it's a home ground for other teams as well, isn't it?
Yeah. So I think they're going to have like a superhero for each team or something. And it officially opens on, well, the rebranded stadium will open on the 1st of September.
Don't really care that much about it, but I guess it'll be all right. Go there to watch sport occasionally, but not there a whole lot.
Yeah, so it's not often that we get to talk about something sport related on this podcast. So I don't really care that much about it either, but a lot of people are like, they don't like it. They feel like it's too weird to be called Marvel Stadium, but
well, it doesn't really matter. It's just a
name.
It's just a name, yeah. It was called Etihad Stadium before that. It was called Telstra Dome before that, and there was a name before that as well. So it's going to keep changing forever.
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter.
The other news I had was Infinity War related. So the Russo brothers confirmed a couple of things that happened in the movie. So spoilers for Infinity War if you still haven't seen it. So you know when Spider-Man dies?
Yep.
Or like he disappears at the end. You know how it takes him longer to die?
Yeah, it's because of his spider sense and stuff.
So they confirmed that it's because of his spider sense. So he like kind of sees it coming. And that's why he takes longer to die than like the other guys just die. Like they just pretty much just disappear. But Spider-Man takes a bit longer. And the other one was when they do disappear, all their clothes and stuff disappear as well. Winter Soldier's even though that's not part of it. Yeah. That also disappears. So they confirmed that it's because it's not just the person that disappears, but it's all of the things that are unique to them also disappear. So all their clothes will disappear. So it's like they never existed. So everything that they ever owned will also disappear.
Yeah.
So that makes sense because I think some people are asking them. I think they're doing like Q&As at the moment. And I think
they're doing. Have they done the Melbourne one yet?
Yeah, that was like 2 weeks ago. Yeah.
Okay. Did you?
No, I didn't go.
No.
So they confirmed a couple of things. I guess we'll move on to Solo. We'll start with our initial thoughts, I guess. Star Wars. Yeah, it's our first, I guess, non-superhero review.
What's your feelings about Star Wars in general? Are you a fan? Not a fan?
I like it. I don't think I'm a fan. I follow the movies. I've seen all the movies. I enjoy some of them. Some of them I don't.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say I'm a huge fan. I don't really follow all the like the Clone Wars TV show and the Rebels. I haven't seen any of those. So I'm not fully around all the mythology. There might have been Easter eggs and stuff in this, which I probably just didn't even notice.
I think all the major fans for Star Wars are probably either in your generation or a bit above your generation, because they're the guys that grew up watching the original trilogy as well when they were like really young.
Yeah.
And then
that's way before my generation, but
yeah, before your one. And they're like mid-30s, late 30s now. But they're like the biggest fans of Star
Well, the original trilogy that came out
70s,
late 70s, early 80s.
Yeah.
So most of those people they'll probably in their 40s. Yeah. I mean, there's big fans of the prequels as well, which is when I was growing up.
Yeah, the prequels were when we were growing up, but I did enjoy the prequels when I was young, though, but I was a bit stupid then.
Yeah, I think like kids enjoyed it, but now those kids who like watched it when they were kids and now if they watch it now, they probably don't enjoy them. I still know people that like them though.
Yeah. I think we both know people that like the prequels. I'm personally not a fan. I liked The Last Jedi. I thought it was alright. A lot of people hate it.
We'll talk about how this movie compares to all the other movies after we do spoilers and stuff. I've got mixed opinions about this movie. I can't even say I enjoyed it because for a lot of it I was bored, to be honest.
Yeah.
So we're doing non-spoilers at the moment, so I'll just say there's not really any stakes in the movie. So they're going from point A to point B to point C, but you don't really feel like the weight of the situation. There's action happening, there's stuff happening, but firstly you know that Han Solo is not going to die.
Don't you find it funny every time they put Han Solo in a situation? It's like, oh, is he going to die or is he going to be alive? And you're like, obviously he's going to come out of it alive.
There's a couple of action sequences, like one of them's in the trailer where you see Chewie hanging off the side of a train.
Oh, is Chewie going to die?
Everyone knows that he's not going to die. Like, he's in every other Star Wars movie after this, so...
Unless you're stupid, or like you've never seen a Star Wars movie before, then you might have been surprised. But
Like, you don't have to have people dying to have stakes. There's got to be something at stake, and I felt there wasn't really anything at stake in this movie. Because halfway through, they sort of build it up that there is something at stake at the start, but halfway through, that doesn't eventuate. Like, it doesn't matter anymore. So then, after that point, you don't really know where the movie's going. You don't really see any point in any of the stuff happening. That's what I felt anyway.
It takes a while for the movie to get going, to be honest. The start was a bit boring. There is some stuff that happens that's pretty interesting, but it happens towards the middle and the end. So there's not much to keep you going at the start, and I found myself checking out a little bit.
How long was this movie? I don't think it was that long, but it felt long.
Yeah, it felt really long. It felt dragged out. And also, coming back to the start is really choppy in terms of editing. Stuff happens, and then there's a bit of a time jump as well. And none of the scenes gel together, and it's really choppy.
There was one really dodgy edit point. I was just like, what the hell is going on?
Especially the start. The start is very dodgy. I don't know if I got used to it afterwards or if it was they got a bit better, but yeah, the start was dodgy. And saying that as well, did you feel like there were some scenes in here that were a Phil Lord and Chris Miller thing? Because I definitely did.
I don't really know this. Like they directed Lego Movie,
21 Jump Street, 22 Jump Street, and Lego Movie. Yeah.
No, I don't really feel it.
There's some particular points I would say in the spoilers, but I'm like, that's definitely something they would have done, and not something Ron Howard would have done.
I think watching this movie, it would have been better if, because they're obviously more comedic sort of directors.
Yeah, I agree. I would have enjoyed their version better than
Yeah, this was a bit. It would have helped to have a bit more comedy in it. I think
it does have comedy.
It does, but it doesn't.
It's not that funny.
It just doesn't really hit. It just doesn't really hit.
They try and make it comedic. It's like mostly like one-liners, but they're not that funny.
Yeah,
most of the time. Some of them are alright, but... Yeah.
And Han Solo is a funny character. Like, he has a comedic touch to him in the original trilogy as well. And even in Force Awakens. So, what did you think of Alden Ehrenreich?
Thought he was alright. Thought he wasn't bad.
Because we heard news last year that he was terrible, and they had to get acting coaches to help him act.
I thought he was fine.
Yeah, maybe this is after he got those acting coaches. I don't even know if that... news is true, but I thought it was fine.
I tried not to compare him to
Harrison Ford.
Because you don't want to do an impression. You want to do your own thing. And I think he did a pretty good job.
Yeah, I thought he was fine. Without giving too much away again, they don't really ruin the character. So I think it's still true to Han Solo as a character. So they don't do something that he wouldn't really do. And this is a younger version of Han Solo, so He's still a little bit different, but you can see how he can evolve into that.
Yeah,
Han
he's got
Solo.
some progression through the movie.
What do you think of Woody Harrelson? So his character was sort of a mentor sort of character to Han Solo.
Yeah. Beckett, thought he was a throwaway character, like could have been played by anyone. Woody Harrelson's a really good actor, and he wasn't overly great, or he wasn't like terrible. He was just there.
He had his moments, but yeah, and I'll talk about it again in spoilers, but they do something with his character that I guess it kind of makes sense, but
I didn't buy it at all. I didn't buy it at all when I saw it.
There's a lot of
do that, yeah.
There's a lot of 180s that they do with that character, and it all happens within like 10-15 minute time frame. But I thought it was okay. Like, it was fine. I don't think anyone's terrible in this movie. It's just
terrible in this movie. Yeah.
Yeah, and even the overall movie, there's nothing that's terrible, but there's nothing that stands out, and I think that's the problem, because you probably expect a bit more from a Star Wars movie.
Well, the one thing that did stand out for me was Donald Glover. I thought he was really good as Lando.
He was really good, but there's so before they introduce his character, there's some dialogue which feels a bit forced.
That's cheesy as hell. Whoever wrote that needs to be shot in the back of the head. That was cheesy, but his character's really good.
Yeah, he was really good. Yeah, he was really good.
And he's actually funny. He was one of the genuine funny parts of the movie.
Yeah, he was pretty funny. And then he had a droid, L3.
L3, yeah. She was shit, in my opinion. Throwaway character. And, she's in it for like 10 minutes, or if not, it's
probably in it for a bit more. I thought she was okay, but pretty much everything she says is comedy. Every dialogue is just a comedic dialogue.
She's basically like an overly feminist person, except instead of being a feminist, it's for droids.
Yeah. And
like everything she says is about that.
Yeah, she's very pro-droid.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and at the
droidist.
It was like a little bit funny, but then it just got a bit annoying.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. Again, it was probably a throwaway character. I think they tried to make it like the droid in Rogue One.
The droid in Rogue One was better.
It was better. Yeah, it was better. Yeah. They probably didn't need that character.
No, they didn't need it.
Yeah, probably didn't need it, but it kind of links into other things which we can talk about. Who else was in the movie? She was fine again. I still don't understand her character, even after watching the movie. I still don't know where she stands.
Very questionable in terms of what her goals and stuff are, but I don't know. She acted pretty well.
Yeah, she was fine for what it is. Again, you know that, I'll talk about it in spoilers, but her relationship with Han, you know it's going to go in a certain way after pretty much the first scene of the movie.
Yeah. Anyone else notable?
Paul Bettany?
Oh, he was shit. I didn't enjoy that at all. It seemed really forced for me for some reason. It was just weird shit. I didn't enjoy it.
I'm not sure what's going on with his face as well.
Oh, so I read this somewhere. If you didn't read it and you just saw the movie, you would have no idea because it's never explained. And it's not even that striking to understand. But he's got the scars and shit on his face. And whenever he gets angry, the scars open up and glow, basically.
But, so he's not human. He's an alien.
I don't know.
Okay. Because he looks if it weren't for those scars, he looks human.
You don't know much about him. He's just like, oh, I'm the evil dude.
And you don't get much time. He's in 3 scenes.
Yeah.
So you don't really get much time with that character. All you know is that he's bad.
He's a bad dude. You don't know why he's bad.
You don't know why. You don't know what his motives really are. Yeah. And
I guess his motives are money. Well, I don't know.
But yeah, again, he was a bit of I guess he's important to the plot. So you kind of need him there, but you just don't spend enough time with him to understand what the character's about.
He was a recast. He was originally another character in the Phil Lord and Chris Miller.
So it was still Paul Bettany, or did they get him later?
It wasn't Paul Bettany. It was another guy.
Ah.
and then they fired that other guy, and then got Paul Bettany
Okay.
to play his character. They didn't fire him. They wanted to reshoot the character, but that guy couldn't come back to reshoot it, so they reshot it with Paul Bettany.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whenever I hear his voice, I just hear Vision. So I just hear like a really bad Vision.
Yeah.
Because he sounds like that's Vision's his voice, obviously. So he just sounds like Vision all the time to me. I thought the best character was actually Chewie.
Oh, Chewie's good.
I thought he was actually the best in this movie.
I thought Lando was better, but Chewie's good.
The parts that I did like were with Han and Chewie. So how they meet up and how they form their friendship. I thought all that was good.
Not exactly how you expect it to happen as well, which is
no.
Good. Yeah.
No.
That's probably one of the more shocking moments, but it's good.
Yeah, I did like Chewie. That was one thing I did like about this movie. Is there any positives that you want to point out?
The movie looks really nice.
Does it?
Looks good. I thought it looked nice overall.
It looks good, but there is a lot of dark lighting.
At the start, it looked terrible. There was this dark lighting scene, and I'm like, this is really dark. It looks shit. But as it got more into it, like all the stuff with the Millennium Falcon looks really good, I think. And the music I thought was really good.
I didn't really notice it.
I thought, not really good, but it's good.
Yeah,
it's amazing. Yeah.
They used some of the Star Wars themes throughout the movie, and I thought that was good. In terms of negatives, I think we've talked about them, but there's just no stakes.
Yep. The story's not great.
Yeah, and it just kind of meanders along. It's slow.
Yeah. And it's a lot of, this is how Han got his blaster. And
there's a lot of, we'll talk about,
guys.
We'll talk about, all that in spoilers, because there's a lot of stuff that we didn't even need to know that. Like, no one asked for that.
I was watching it, I'm like, who really gives a fuck about this shit? Like, it's just terrible stuff. And there's a lot of that in the movie.
If we don't have anything else to say, non-spoiler, I guess we can give our ratings. What's your rating? 624.9. Okay.
Yep.
Again, this is a relative scale, so the scale changes with the movie.
Changes every time, yeah.
So if you listen to our previous episodes, you'll know that he gave 500 and something for Avengers.
Something for Avengers, 20 and something for Deadpool.
Yeah,
too.
But you can't compare them.
No, you can't compare them.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. In terms of my rating's a little bit more comparable, I guess. I would give this one, watch it on, just watch it on Netflix or something. Watch it streamed, and you could probably even watch it while you're doing something else. Just have it in the background and just casually watch it. You don't even need to be invested in the story, I feel. It's a bit disappointing. I thought, cause you were always saying that this movie was not going to be good, and I had hopes. I thought it would be okay. Unfortunately, it's probably it's probably a little bit under okay. It's still, I wouldn't say it's bad. Still, like it's well made, and there's nothing terrible about it, but there's just nothing that stands out. So it's a bit of just an average fare.
Spoilers.
Let's do some spoilers. So, the movie starts off with Han on his planet.
Yeah, it starts with C. I forgot what it's called.
But it's another junk planet. So my question is, why do all the Star Wars characters come from these really dodgy planets?
Yeah, no one's from like...
Why can't someone be from like...
Empire planet?
Yeah. I guess the Emperor, he's from Naboo, right?
Oh, yeah, Naboo's nice.
It's a little bit more upmarket than some of these planets.
Yeah, this planet looked like it was shit. It's better than Tatooine, but it looks shit.
So you just see his background. He's trying to escape or something.
So that whole first scene sounded a little bit like the Phil Lord, Chris Miller stuff. Especially that part when he's going through that little gap. And then she's like, you're not going to fit. And he's like, watch me do this. And he does it. And you think he's going to go through, but then in the end, he just creaks through at the end.
Yeah.
He doesn't make it to the end. That would be a thing that Phil Lord and Chris Miller would have done, I think.
Okay.
That's not a Ron Howard thing.
What is a Ron Howard thing? I don't think he really has.
Ron Howard thing is just like bland shit that the mass audience is like, I guess.
It's meant to be an exciting action sequence, but I didn't.
But it's a bit boring.
It looks. I guess it looks alright, and
the
then
movie doesn't really get going for a long time after that. After that initial scene, there's a 3-year jump where Han's fighting for the Empire. That whole part is so boring and like no one cares.
So before that part, there's some forced scenes of how Han gets his surname.
How Han gets his surname is the shittest scene.
So it's like, yeah, I'm Han, and then this Imperial,
It's like, what's your family? And he's like, I don't have anyone.
Who are your people? And it's like, yeah, okay, well, you're Solo, so you're Han Solo.
Like, oh my god, that is such bad writing. If Deadpool was in this movie, he would have been like, that's just lazy writing.
Why can't his name just be Han Solo? Why couldn't they just make it that his name is that?
Yeah. That's one of the worst parts. Then he joins the Empire in the 3-year jump.
I didn't really care about that part either.
Yeah, there's not much to talk about in that part, but he meets Beckett and his crew, I guess. Oh, he meets Chewie. That's a good part.
It kind of picks up after he meets Chewie.
Yeah, so he meets Chewie, and Chewie's actually going to kill him.
Yeah.
Which was surprising. Yeah.
I'm surprised that he walked out of that. Like, he actually walked out of that. Because Chewie absolutely, like, smashed him into, like, poles and... Like, he should have broken his back or something.
Yeah, he should be dead, but he somehow made it out alive.
But, yeah, I didn't expect them to meet that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So does Chewie eat people?
I think he does, yeah.
Okay.
Well, I think it's because they weren't feeding him anything else, so he was eating people, I guess. But if he has the option, he would, like, eat other stuff.
But he's not, like, he's not a beast. Like, he's not barbaric. Because he walks around other people, and he's not, like, trying to eat them. He's not...
Yeah, no, I think he was just hungry, you know. A guy's got to eat. He was bulking season. He had to eat something.
Because I don't get why they had to, like, lock him up in such high security, like, such a high security cage. Because when he's around other people, he's fine. So after that, he joins that crew. Again, that crew, because I actually liked the guy with the 4 hands.
Yeah, do you know that guy's Jon Favreau?
Yeah, Jon Favreau, yeah. So I actually like that guy. But he dies in, like, you get, like, 10 minutes with him, and then he dies.
10 minutes, and he dies, and you're meant to care that he died, but I didn't. He was alright, but I didn't care that he died, because I knew him for 10 minutes.
Yeah. Because I actually liked that character more than Woody Harrelson's character. Yeah.
He was funny-ish.
He made some jokes about Wookiees, which were kind of funny.
And yeah, he dies pretty soon, and Beckett's wife dies as well, but don't really care about her.
No.
All that much.
Again, she's in it for like 10 minutes. So,
yeah.
And she doesn't like Han Solo. That's all you know.
Yeah.
Or she doesn't trust him.
Yeah, the train heist was okay at parts, but it wasn't amazing. It wasn't like really tense on the edge of your seat stuff.
No.
I didn't know what was happening.
No, because I think the other thing is you don't really care about... You know that Han and Chewie are going to make it out alive.
Yeah.
And those are the two characters that you probably don't like care about. The other characters are just... You've spent 10 minutes with them, so you don't care if they die or if they live. So that action sequence, it just doesn't have any stake.
And then this is the part where I pretty much tuned out after that happens. There's probably half an hour when nothing happens in the movie. He just goes and meets Paul Bettany and they talk for a while. And not until they go and see Lando does it start picking up again.
Yeah, so I spent the first half an hour waiting for Chewie or Lando. Then once Chewie was introduced, I spent the next probably 20 minutes waiting for Lando.
There's a really boring part in the middle there where I definitely tuned out.
There's something about they decide to go on this mission.
Yeah,
and he meets Emilia Clarke's character again. So that's the point I was saying, because at the start they kind of established this thing that he wants to go back to his planet to meet up with, what's her name? Kira or something.
Kira, yeah.
Kira.
Kira with a Q.
Yeah. So meet up with Kira again. But then he ends up meeting her anyway.
So in reality, he doesn't actually need to do the mission. They could just run away.
Well, I guess he wants money to buy a ship or something. That's what he wants. But there's probably other ways that you can get a ship than like hanging out with these guys that are trying to
well, that are obviously going to kill them if they don't do what they...
Yeah, there's probably less dangerous ways he can go about it. But because once he meets up with Kira, all of that just disappears. So he could just do whatever. But then again, she's kind of trapped in her thing as well. So maybe he couldn't.
There's definitely different ways it could have gone, but yeah, it doesn't matter. And then what I thought was a good scene was it's kind of like a poker game, I guess, but it's some weird space poker game.
Yeah, it would have like all those scenes might have hit more if I actually knew what the rules of the game were. Yeah. It was just cards going down. I'm like, okay, that guy won because they're cheering.
It looked like poker, but I don't know. It could have been anything. I thought that was a cool scene, though, with him and Lando. And you think he's going to win the Millennium Falcon from him, but...
Yeah, because you know that he wins it from him in a card game. And I thought he'd win it from him in that card game. But he doesn't. Yeah, but then you know later on that he is going to win it.
That scene was cool. And then it kind of picks up from there onwards when they go to get whatever that mining oil is for the fuel. And when they do the Kessel Run. I thought the Kessel Run was a cool part. That's probably the best part of the movie.
Which part is that? The part in the mines?
It's after the mine, the planet and everything, and then they're flying away. And then he goes through that different place, and then he's like, I did the Kessel Run in 12 parsecs or whatever.
Yeah, I was telling some guy, and he didn't care.
And the guy just walks off.
Yeah.
That part was cool, and you finally see, at the start of the movie, when Han is piloting the ship, and then Jon Favreau's character's like, you're a really good pilot, man. And then I'm like, is he though? He's just like flying in a straight line. He's not doing anything.
He's not doing anything special, yeah.
He's not doing anything special. It's like, where'd you pull this he's a good pilot shit from? But then...
he's about to die, so maybe his perception was clearly distorted.
He's like hallucinating. Yeah, because clearly he wasn't doing anything amazing. He was like driving in a straight line. But when he flies the Millennium Falcon through the Kessel Run, then you're like, oh yeah, he's actually a good pilot. Because he does some crazy shit.
In that part when Chewie just starts doing random stuff, it's like, how do you know how to pilot? And then you find out he's like 180 years old. But what was he doing for the rest of the... Like, he was just standing there. If he knew how to do this stuff, what was he doing?
Just have a watch and see what's happening. That part was good. And then the whole part after that was really shit, I reckon.
Yeah, that's when all the twists start happening.
Yeah.
There is one part, it's very short, but for some reason Han and Chewie have a shower.
Yeah, as soon as that's a Phil Lord and Chris Miller thing, I reckon. Definitely not a Ron Howard thing. I thought that was really funny.
It just felt a bit out of place because the rest of the movie, that sort of comedy wasn't there. And for some reason, it was just like, let's just have a scene where they're in a shower.
Where they're in the shower together. Yeah, that's a Phil Lord and Chris Miller thing, I think. Would you have rather that through the whole movie, though, or this?
It would have been more entertaining with that.
It would, yeah.
At least, it might not have been a better movie, but it might have been a more entertaining movie.
It would have been more risky than this. People would have hated it if it didn't come off.
But at least they tried something. Yeah,
at least they tried something. This is a safe option. It's just everyone will be okay with it.
So basically, after they go to the mining mining thing, they get that. What is it? Some sort of mineral or something?
It's like some sort of mineral oil thing.
Yeah.
To power starships.
And they come back to this other planet, and then they get ambushed by these people. And
this was fucking crazy. So I'm like, it's like a big scene where they're all standing there, they're ambushed by these people all wearing masks, and they're like waiting there in front of them. And then there's this big build up to the scene where the main person's going to take her mask off.
Yeah, it's just some kid.
It's gonna be someone from the original trilogy. It's gonna be someone from the previous trilogy. I'm like, so gonna know this person.
It's gonna be like Jar Jar Binks.
Yeah, I'm like, it's gonna be amazing. And there's a massive build up. I can't explain how big the build up was to her taking off her mask.
Yeah, the music's all like dramatic and stuff as well. So I was like, wow, something's gonna happen. And then it's just this kid.
Takes off the mask. It's this kid with freckles and red hair. I'm like, who the fuck is this? I have no fucking idea who this is. And at first, I'm like, I probably don't know who it is. It's probably someone from Rebels or something. And I looked it up online. It's no one. It's just some chick they made up for this movie. Why was there such a big build-up? It's bullshit.
Yeah, and even in that scene, because like Han tries to like tell him, he tries to tell him that there's like he's got like all these people in the Millennium Falcon,
yeah.
and the Millennium Falcon just flies away, and it's like, oh, okay.
Lando just flies away. That part was pretty funny. I enjoyed that part. The whole part after that's just ridiculous.
Yeah, after that, it just goes.
So he tells the plan to Beckett, and then Beckett's like, nah, I'm going to leave. And then they go into the place to try and steal the oil off the Paul Bettany. And then you find out that Beckett, for some reason, told Paul Bettany about it.
Yeah, like, I didn't understand. Because he's like, yeah, I'm just going to run away. But then he obviously, it's not a very big, like, they're on this island, and the island isn't very big. Yeah. So where's he going to go? Like, he's not going to walk off the island.
He doesn't have a ship either. What the fuck is this? No, it's ridiculous.
Like, they should have figured out that he's not, he's like, yeah, I'm going to go. He just starts walking away. Where's he going to go?
It's ridiculous. So he does a U-turn, and he betrays Han and Chewie, even though for the whole movie he's like, oh, we should stick together because we have a good thing going for some reason. But then he's like, nah, let's betray him. But then 2 seconds later, when he finds out it's the real mineral, he betrays Paul Bettany again, and he just kills everyone and walks off with it. Once again, he doesn't have a ship. Where's he going to go?
Yeah, it was just him and Chewie just walking.
He's just walking. Where's he going to walk to? This is ridiculous. Like, where are you going, man? Far out. So he does 2 U-turns, and then Kira as well.
Yeah, because you don't know what she's going to... So basically in that whole scene, you don't know what anyone is going to... You don't even know what Han is going to do. Yeah, like the only one you probably... Like, Chewie's just like, what the hell is going on? Who am I meant to trust here?
Kira, like, does... I guess she doesn't technically do a U-turn, but... no, she does. She's like on Paul Bettany's side. Then she kills Paul Bettany. She's on Han's side. She's like, I'm right behind you. But then she's not right behind him. Surprise, surprise.
Yeah, like, she's like, yeah, I'll just grab these gems or whatever. There's like 3 gems. Yeah. You don't have to be right behind him. You can just grab them and go with him.
It's making no sense. He can help you with the gems. It's not like...
How long is it going to take you to grab 3 gems?
It's not like a 1 hour operation. It's like, it's a quick grab and go. So that didn't make sense. There's a bit of a surprise cameo at the end.
Yeah.
Kind of like, did they just throw that in to like be like, oh, he's in this movie? Or
yeah, when I first saw it, I thought it was because he had the cloak on, so I thought it was the Emperor.
Yeah.
But then he takes it off and it's Darth Maul.
Yeah.
So Darth Maul, because I didn't watch the Clone Wars and all that, so I do know that he comes back.
He's got like spider legs.
Spider legs? Oh, so they grow back.
Do you know how Obi-Wan cuts him in half?
Yeah.
Yeah, so like the bottom half of his body's like spider. It's like a big spider. He's got like 8 legs.
Does he? Like in this, did he?
He should.
Okay. I didn't even notice.
Yeah.
I guess it might have been under his cloak or something.
Yeah, I think it's under his cloak, yeah.
Yeah.
But I think it's like a foreshadowing for a sequel. Either a Han Solo sequel or like an Obi-Wan movie or something like that.
Yeah.
But do you care all that much about it? No, not really.
Well, I might care about it if it's Obi-Wan. Because maybe Obi-Wan and him meet again and they have another fight or something.
Well, you would think that Darth Maul dies before the original trilogy, though, because...
He's not around. Because why would he need Darth Vader if Darth Maul was around?
So, but there is time travel in Star Wars as well.
Apparently. But this is after Revenge of the Sith?
After Revenge of the Sith, yeah.
So if Darth Maul is still alive, why does he need Darth Vader?
Does he know that Darth Maul's still alive? I don't know. Maybe it's explained in Clone Wars and we just don't know about it. Yeah.
So if any of you guys know, just send us a tweet or an email, because we haven't followed Clone Wars, so I know there's people out there that have religiously followed it. So if you guys know the mythology, please let us know.
I hear it's really good and it makes sense, everything with Darth Maul and stuff. So I don't want to rubbish that. It's probably a good story.
Yeah, I've heard it's good. So the part with Darth Maul, because you see him and you're like, it's Darth Maul. But then,
and then he takes out his lightsaber.
It's like, was that necessary? He doesn't. He uses the Force to get it. But it's like, okay, you could just leave it at that. But then he turns it on as well. It's like,
He takes out the lightsaber and he's like, "This is my lightsaber." Turns it on and spins it around. In case you didn't know, it's a double-sided lightsaber. Just in case.
Was that necessary?
And then he turns it straight off afterwards.
Yeah.
If he turned it on and then he like walked off screen, I'd be like, "Oh, fair enough. He's gonna turn it on and go fight someone right now, so he needs it." But he turns it on, just shows it to her, and he's like, "Oh, we're gonna work more closely together." Then he turns it off, and that's it. I'm like, what's the point? Like, why would you do that? You're wasting energy, man.
That was just shoehorned in.
Do you think this is setting up for a sequel?
I think was there an end credit scene? I didn't stay. I just had to get out of there.
I don't think there is. I didn't stay either, but I don't think there is. But do you know how he's going to go to Tatooine now? He's obviously going to do something for Jabba the Hutt. I thought that was going to be in this movie. So
yeah.
Maybe they're setting that up for a sequel. I'm not sure if I want to see that movie, to be honest. But
if it's Obi-Wan, I'd watch it. If this links into an Obi-Wan movie, I'd watch it.
I think it would be like, because the whole thing with Kira and Han isn't resolved yet as well. There would be like a Han Solo 2 with like Jabba the Hutt, Kira, Darth Maul.
I think he just moves on because I think he knows that she's betrayed him, and I think he probably just moves on, just never sees her again, and she probably if the first scene of the next movie is just Kira getting killed by Darth Maul. She just walks in, the first thing he does is like, yeah.
He turns on the lightsaber again, spins it around, chucks it at her.
And then it's just an Obi-Wan movie after that. It starts off with a horrific death.
And there's no explanation for it as well. It's just like, she walks in, he kills her, and no one ever speaks about it again.
Yeah, it's before you see anything either. It's like the first scene of the movie, and then you see Lucasfilm.
And then there's an opening crawl afterwards, and no one speaks of it again. I think there might be, I don't know if it's going to be a Han Solo 2 or the Obi-Wan movie, but it would have Kira in it.
Probably.
And she's probably going to die in it.
I thought she would die in this one, but they didn't go that route.
As well.
So if they do make an Obi-Wan, would they get Ewan McGregor back?
Yeah, because he's probably aged to the right amount now.
Yeah.
That he played like an older Obi-Wan.
And he was pretty good, even in the prequels. He was probably one of the better parts of those movies.
Saying that, the prequels got really good actors. They just got shit performances out of them.
Well, I don't know if Hayden... maybe because he was in those movies, so you can't really...
that was like some of the first movies he's ever done.
Yeah.
So maybe it was like the writing and shit was so bad that they just ruined his career.
But obviously Natalie Portman came a long way after those movies. Yeah. And Ewan McGregor's a good actor. Yeah, and even the guy who acted as Palpatine, he was pretty good in those movies as well.
He's in the originals as well. And
is he in the originals?
He's the same actor, yeah.
How come he's not that old?
I don't think he was that old in the originals.
Oh.
Because they put a lot of prosthetic makeup on him in the originals. Have you seen the uncut version, like the original versions?
No.
He looks way different. He looks like he's got like stuff, like boils on his face. He looks really different to how he looks in the remastered versions. Just search it up on Google, you'll see a picture of it. Yeah, all the actors in the prequels are really good. But yeah, I would be keen to see Ewan McGregor come back for an Obi-Wan movie, I guess. But
I would care more about that movie than this movie. What does he do between the original trilogy and the prequels?
I don't know. No idea. I don't think that's in Rebels or... Yeah, it would be in Rebels because Rebels in between. Yeah, I don't know if he's in Rebels at all.
Maybe he just walks around deserted planets.
Yeah, it would just be him drinking blue milk on Tatooine for the whole 2 hours. Anything else that you have to say about this movie?
No, I think that's it. It's just mediocre.
I definitely don't want to watch it again.
Nah, I'm like, that's it, yeah.
It nearly put me to sleep at points because it was boring. And all the stuff of, this is how hard got his blasted, this is how hard got his dice, this is how hard got his last name. It's just shit. Yeah, shoehorned in and terrible.
It was just a bit, the whole movie is just a bit unnecessary.
It's unnecessary, yeah. When me and my mates came out and watched it, we're like, it's an alright movie, but it's an unnecessary movie that didn't need to be told.
No one was asking for it, so I don't get why they made it. So we can talk about, in terms of the rest of the Star Wars movies, where does it fall for you?
Maybe above Revenge of the Sith.
Okay. So you'd have all the prequels and then this at the bottom.
Yeah. Or maybe it's worse than Revenge of the Sith. I haven't seen Revenge of the Sith in a while, so I can't really say. At the moment, I'll say it's better than Revenge of the Sith. It could be worse.
I would say it's not better than Revenge of the Sith. Because at least Revenge of the Sith, because I watched it recently, and it still keeps you interested. It's probably the best. It's a lot better than people give it credit for. It's actually got some good stuff. Yeah.
By a long mile. It's not a bad movie. The fight at the end is really good in Mustafa.
And it has some character moments that actually work, unlike most of the character moments in the prequels.
I would have to watch Revenge of the Sith again and let you know, but I think at the moment I'll put it below Revenge of the Sith, above Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah. So you'd have all of the... What's your number one? Force Awakens?
Yeah.
Or Empire Strikes Back?
Force Awakens or Empire. I reckon probably Force Awakens, although I haven't seen both of them in a while as well. So I'd have to rewatch it. Yeah.
We could almost do a whole episode on this, but for me, I think I still like the original trilogy above... I really liked Force Awakens, but Last Jedi, just the route they took Last Jedi, it kind of makes Force Awakens not as good.
I don't hate The Last Jedi, but it does destroy a lot of the elements of Force Awakens and makes that movie not as good, to be honest. At
least Last Jedi, they did something different. And they tried something different.
Yeah.
I feel like that's better than this movie where they've just played it very safe. So at least Last Jedi, they tried to do something different. It might have backfired to an extent, but at least it was different. And I wasn't bored in Last Jedi, at least. I was still kind of interested in what was happening.
Last Jedi is actually a well-made movie. If it wasn't a Star Wars movie, everyone would love it. It's just because it's a Star Wars movie and it didn't go beat for beat how people wanted it in terms of Rey being Obi-Wan's daughter or something and Snoke being something from the past. These are the main reasons people hate it, because Rey and Snoke don't have any relevance in it in the end. And the main reason people didn't like that is because of all the stuff The Force Awakens set up. So, it's really The Force Awakens' fault, if anything.
And I guess they're different directors, so maybe they had different visions. But JJ's back for the last one, so maybe he'll start...
Apparently he's going to retcon some of the stuff from The Last Jedi, so I don't know. Apparently Rey's parents are someone important now. I don't know how that's going to work. Maybe Kylo Ren just lied.
Maybe. Don't know why, but yeah.
Yeah. And Rogue One is probably towards the middle bottom. Like, it's better than the prequels.
It's better than this.
Han Solo, but it's not better than anything else.
Yeah, it's better than this. I probably like it better than Last Jedi, and for me it's probably equal to Force Awakens. I actually like Rogue One. I didn't like it the first time I saw it that much, but I saw it again and it's pretty good. A lot of people say it's the best new Star Wars movie, like after Disney bought it.
Yeah, I haven't seen it in a while, but I don't know. I didn't enjoy it that much when I first saw it.
It's got a story I sort of cared about, I guess. Had some significance.
Are you starting to care less and less about the new Star Wars movies?
Yeah.
I agree. I cared a lot to begin with. Really excited. I was really excited for Force Awakens. And Rogue One, I was kind of excited for, and I watched it. And then I was pretty excited for The Last Jedi as well, but now it's kind of died off, and I'm like, yeah, I don't really care what happens. And there's like plans for so many more trilogies and stuff, and I'm like...
Yeah, Rian Johnson trilogy.
Don't know if I really care that much about it and if I'll be as invested.
And there's some TV show as well, isn't there?
Yeah, they're going to make a TV show. Jon Favreau's making that, actually. I feel like in the future they just need to not play it as safe. But saying that...
Yeah, but they should still stay true to... So if they continue with the... I don't think they'll continue with the Skywalker, like, those characters anymore. But if they do, they should stay... I think the main thing with Last Jedi is they didn't stay true to the characters, especially Luke, because he was very uncharacteristic in that movie, and that's why people didn't like it. If they took risks, but they were still true to the characters, then people will like it.
But saying that, I feel like Luke wasn't that different to how... He was like on this place by himself for like, I don't know, 20 years or something, wasn't it? It was a while, wasn't it?
Yeah, but the reason he goes there is because he suspects his nephew is turning to the dark side. But the whole original trilogy was... Well, he believed that Darth Vader was good, even though the rest of the galaxy was...
True.
Didn't believe that. So someone who believed that he could see light in someone as dark as Darth Vader, why couldn't he believe that his own nephew could be,
but it was only for like a split second, wasn't it? And then he says, "Oh," and then I realized what I was doing, and I kind of backed off. But then Kylo Ren thought he was trying to kill him.
But I still don't think he would do that.
Yeah,
I think he's seen. I think he's seen enough in his life to not jump to conclusions like that. So yeah. So I think that really hurt the fans. I didn't mind that, but I think I just thought it wasn't true to his character.
There's a lot of risks that they took in that movie that people didn't like, which is fair enough. It really depends where the next one goes to see if people will come back and enjoy that movie. Because I pretty much don't enjoy The Force Awakens as much anymore because of The Last Jedi.
But hopefully the next one brings it back. We'll have to see. But yeah, Solo was a bit of a disappointment.
Yeah, definitely not going to watch that anytime soon. And it's not one of the movies that's like shit enough to like watch it and just like
trash it.
Take the piss out of it, just trash it. It's kind of just like boring shit, which is the worst kind of shit.
Yeah.
I'd rather watch like Batman and Robin
than this, for sure.
One of the trashiest movies ever. But you can take the piss out of it. But with this, you can't. It's just, it just exists. Which is worse than a really terrible movie, in my opinion.
Well, it takes itself so seriously, and it wants you to take it seriously as well. Whereas something like Batman and Robin, it takes itself seriously as well, but it's just so ridiculous. It's just so ridiculous that you can just laugh at it.
Yeah, you can just take the piss out of it, which with this you would find it hard to do because it's not as bad as Batman and Robin. Obviously, it does take itself very seriously as well.
Yeah,
at most parts.
All right then. I guess that's all we have to say about this movie. So since we started podcasting, this is probably the worst one we've reviewed, unfortunately. Yeah. But there will be. I can guarantee there will be worse movies than this coming up.
Yeah,
so.
No, I think we're making it sound worse than it is.
Yeah, it's not that bad.
People out there will definitely like it.
Yeah, there'll be people that enjoy it for sure.
There'll be people out there that with the group that I went with. One of the guys actually really enjoyed it. So.
Yeah. Well, when we watched it, the guys sitting next to us, they were watching it for the second time. They were true Star Wars fans, so and apparently they enjoyed it more the second time than the first time. But I can't bring myself to watch this again.
So if you're a true Star Wars fan, like love Han Solo, want to know more about his backstory, even though most of it's explained in the original trilogy anyway, this movie may be for you.
So next week we actually don't have anything, do we?
Don't have anything on next week, I don't think.
Yeah. So if anyone has any suggestions, you can send us an email or a tweet, which you can now explain. How do people contact us?
Oh, so the email is cognitiverecalibrationpodcast@gmail.com, or one word. The Facebook page is just Cognitive Recalibration. The Twitter handle is it C Recalibration?
Yep.
Yeah, is that right?
Yep.
Awesome. And we have an Instagram page now as well.
Yep. Cognitive Recalibration.
If you guys have any suggestions for next week,
let us know.
If you want more Star Wars stuff, although we've talked a lot of Star Wars this week, so probably not.
What are the movies coming up? We've got Incredibles 2 coming up. We've got Ocean's 8.
The week after we're doing Ocean's 8.
Ocean's 8, yeah. That will be interesting.
That could go either way. That
could go
absolutely shit, yeah.
That could go any way.
I would enjoy it if it was really shit rather than like a average movie. Because I wouldn't take the piss out of a movie.
And we've lined up some guests to come talk with us about a couple of movies, and we'll reveal that later on. We've we've been very selective about which movies we want people to come in on. And there's one particular one. There's one particular one where we selected a friend of ours who has a passion for bad movies. So, and we have a feeling this one is not going to be a good one.
Hopefully that movie's bad. If that movie's somehow good, well, yeah, you'll find out what it is later on.
Yeah, it's a bit later on. It's still a couple of months.
There's still a couple months to go.
But yeah, so we've got Ocean's 8 in a couple of weeks, but you'll see what we do next week. And then we've got a full lineup after that, I think. We've got Incredibles 2, Jurassic World.
Yeah. All the summer movies are going to start coming out, so...
Yeah.
Or next week we could do most anticipated movies of the summer, if we want to do something like that. So if you guys are interested in something along those lines.
let us know, or we just won't talk. We'll still have a podcast, but we'll just talk about random stuff.
We'll just talk shit for an hour.
Yeah, and you can listen to it. So if we do a podcast like that, I will call it talking shit for an hour.
Yeah. That's what it will be. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay then. So I think we'll call it a day and we'll let you go. We'll see you next week.
See ya.
Bye.